Hi everyone, and welcome to this month's newsletter clip. I have been a little bit delayed, and it's been a really interesting time with both April and May. It just feels that the energy of April and May have been quite liquid. So we talk about the earth energy and how earth energy can be, rock solid or firm or quicksand. You don't know where you're sort of standing on. And I think for me, time has been very linear. So that we start our day and suddenly it's the end of the day and we think, well, what happened in between? So our concept of time over April and May has been quite different, quite dynamic. And lots and lots of clients have been coming in and talking about time, not having enough time. Where has the time gone? What are they doing with their time? So there's a real sense of the ascension process, something that was talked about quite a lot in 2012. So we're going in that 12-12 era. And there was lots of teachers out there talking about the change in time and the dynamics in time and that whole process of how do we do things? How do things occur in our life? And I think now, I actually think it's now. I think that several years later, the ascension and this whole aspect of what 2012 was all talked about is now becoming a part of our process. And so that was what was really quite prevalent for me in terms of April and May. And so as I talk about time, here I am. I was talking to someone in Australia the other day. She says, "Oh, we haven't had your newsletter in May." And I'm like, "Well, no, you haven't, because time has just been linear instead of this way." And so I don't know where the time has gone. And I think that it's just wonderful that I'm really here now and I'm talking about time in this different concept. I feel that for some of you out there, there's a real sense of coming to, I suppose, a time in your life where we're at that crossroad, where we're at that stage in our life where we're asking, so what am I doing and where am I going? What's my next step? And this is the ascension process. This is the ascension process where we're beginning to ask about, well, has my journey been good enough? Have I accomplished everything that I wanted to? Have I still got something to do? Is there still something in my life that I need to achieve? Is there still a goal out there that I need to sort of work my way towards and start a different aspect of my soul journey? And so that's ascension. And ascension is when we really do start to ask those much deeper questions about life and the meaning of life. So I have a really lovely example of ascension. I suppose for myself, I started my ascension work 20 years ago, sitting in my shop going, so what is my soul purpose, guys? What is my soul purpose? And the word teacher came in. And so I put the thought out, well, what is it that I need to teach? And then in came psychic development. And I thought, oh, so how do I do that? Put the question back out to the universe. And then suddenly I just sat in my crystal shop in Largs in Scotland, and my psychic development course was developed. That's over 20 years ago now. And so ascension is, for me, the essence of going, so what's my next step? Hearing that thought coming and then having that conversation, following the breadcrumbs, because it's the journey. Ascension is your journey. It's not a destination. It's not a final place in your life. Your ascension, quite literally, is a combination of every experience, every challenge, every lesson, every person who comes into your life, and they make you a better person. They make you grow, they make you aware, they make you search, they make you change, and they make you develop. And so for me, in having that conversation with my guides, 20 odd years ago, here I am with over 15 different teaching products. I have teachers who teach my products now, and so they're on their spiritual journey. I'm developing a new product as we speak, so I'm in that whole research mode, finding information. And again, I suppose just watching my guides look here or look there. I just had an email from a lovely American chap. I've been collaborating with Ken for the last 6 years on these amazing fractal mandalas that he creates. And I've asked if I could use them in my meditation classes this year. But I'm actually going to bolt them into this new course that I'm developing, because through those conversations, he started talking about Atlantis, and that's what my new course is going to be. It's going to be the 12 tribes of Atlantis. So he put me on a path of research material, research books, which has then put me on a different path of creating amazing copper healing tools. So this course is going to be really, really different from what I've had before, but it's following the breadcrumbs. It's the journey. It's the journey. That's Ascension. Being on your journey, not feeling that you need to get somewhere and that's you there, but it's that tiny nuances, the chance conversations, the happenstances of finding a book and suddenly it sparks your imagination, and you then become affected by that. You become different. You change your thought process. You change who you are because of that. And I think that this is a real learning point for those of you who are on your soul quest. You're out there asking the question, well, what's this all about? For me, becoming an Ascension teacher, so I actually became an Ascension teacher with the Diana Cooper School many years ago. It must be, I don't know, about 18 years ago now. And so it was being introduced to these beautiful dynamic guides, these people who have had physical existences here on planet Earth. They've been teachers, members of nobility. They've created and supported religion or developed religious processes or belief systems here on Earth. And so they've passed over and they're working with us. So, you've got Sanat Kumara and Lord Kuthumi and Lord Maitreya, all these beautiful names that are in the history books of developing different aspects in mankind and our spiritual awareness, our spiritual awakening. So with Ascension, we're bringing in these higher guides, we're connecting to these higher beings who are going to help us become the better version of ourselves, or the best version of ourselves at this given time. The key thing to Ascension is to really look at where you've come from by examining your journey, examining your highs, your lows, examining how you, I suppose, overcame some of those really difficult situations, and how that shaped you, how that made you someone better, someone different. That's Ascension. That is really Ascension. And that ties into the 2012 whole philosophy of being highly spiritual, of being on a fifth dimensional vibrational plane. But I do feel it's now. I feel it's taken us all of those years, 7 years from 2012, to really explore what dimensional energy is, what energy is. And I think over the last 7 years, we've seen an awareness of mindfulness, being authentic, being brave. I think the theme for this year, and I'm sure I said it in my January newsletter, is the key word is kind, being kind to each other, having a kindness for each other, which our New Zealand Prime Minister amply demonstrates and has demonstrated through the events here in Christchurch, there's a kindness that she's offered people. That's the key word for this year. I think also for myself, it's about, with Ascension and with your soul purpose, one of the lessons that was brought to me 2 years ago by a lovely chap, a fellow Scotsman, David Sewell, and in a business level, we had him in working on our business with us, and he talked about the fox mentality. And so the fox mentality is when we see someone else achieving great things, we go, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And so like a fox, we chase after it. But we're maybe going in the wrong direction. We're maybe being distracted. We think it's a good idea, but we may not have the skills, the time, the energy. We might put a half-hearted effort into it and not a wholehearted effort into it. And that might not be our path of success. And I've been really aware, since he talked about the fox and the tortoise, I've been really aware of different aspects of my personality where sometimes I'm the fox. I'll get some new learning and I'll be so enthusiastic. Well, I've got to really look at that. And I get completely distracted away from being the tortoise and methodically working and applying myself deeply and wholeheartedly into what I know is truly mine. That's Ascension. Ascension is being able to see your personality and to pull yourself back in alignment with what feeds your soul. So I was really aware of that last year, my fox and tortoise mentality. And being a tortoise actually can be frustrating. It's like the tortoise and the hare. You feel like, wow, I'm still back here. And you see the foxes all running off or the hares running off. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing that. You're going, oh, God, and I'm still at the starting post, it feels like. But time is linear. Time is linear. And so when we take out the distractions of other people, and when we step back and we look at what we're achieving, we can actually see that we're no longer at the starting post. We might be halfway down the race course. We might be 3/4 of the way around the race course. We might actually nearly be at the finish line. And so for some of my projects, I'm definitely nearer the finish line now than I am at the starting point. And in some of my new adventures, I'm right at the starting gate and I'm creating a brand new path. And again, it's following those really random thoughts. Mindfulness has been a big part of who I am. My voice has been a huge part of who I am. I don't really hear my voice. But for thousands of you out there who are part of Insight Timer, I have over 1,000 followers on Insight Timer, which is an online meditation platform. And they enjoy my meditations. They are working their way through their wellness. Some of my beautiful followers they book me in as a weekly practice because they love this Scottish accent and they love the whole essence of what the meditations do. For those of you who'd come to my meditation classes or who have bought my meditations online, my voice is my key thing. So for this year, bringing mindfulness into a brand new client base, that's my next ascension. That was a thought that popped into my head I think it was in March, about working with another business. And so I then approached the person of that business and just we talked away, and now I'm involved in the business. And so come sort of August time, I'll be launching a brand new corporate mindfulness program. So again, it's the breadcrumbs. It's following those thoughts and not actually wondering or going into a fear process. It's about, I'll do that. And I've just followed that process and I'm on this most amazing journey at the moment, which is really exciting, which again is why I'm quite late in my May newsletter. I've been working away diligently on setting foundations for this other company. And it's been a real process, but I can see now why my guides have said, this is where you need to be next. This is where you need to be. This is how you're going to do it. And so I'm just following the process, not knowing what the outcome's going to be, but I'm trusting the outcome. That's Ascension. So I want you to really think about where you've come over the last 7 years, from 2012 to 2019. How have you changed? What has changed differently? Have you felt that you've had even more challenges coming into your life, one after the other, after the other, after the other, with no break? That's Ascension. The universe gives us what we can cope with. It only gives us what we can cope with. So therefore, your guides are up there going, so how are they going to do that? If you've tried to change some of your behaviors and the old stuff comes in and you're faced with it, have you gone back into old patterns? Have you gone, no, actually, this is who I am now and this is where I need to be? That's Ascension. So I feel it's really, I do feel this year on a bigger picture, we are being shown how to find the better aspects of who we are. We're having to look at old behaviors and decide, is that who I am now? Or am I going to stick to this new version of myself, and set boundaries? Also, thinking about on the global scale, Ascension, people rising with one voice against, whether it be political control, spiritual control, religious control, what is happening out there, financial control even. So there is a process of putting ourselves in that global scheme of things and seeing how Ascension is working there, especially with people marching for what they feel is right, that communal mind, that global mind, but actually, no, this isn't good enough. This isn't what is good for us. It no longer serves a purpose. That's Ascension. And then we've got the ambassadors, these young children coming out and creating change. We've got our actual politicians, our country leaders. They have a great opportunity to step up and create change through coming from a more connected perspective on the people that they serve, because our politicians are here to serve us. It's not the other way around. They're duly elected by us. So, they're re-elected by the merits of what they've done and not done. So, again, that's that Ascension. If you are interested in Ascension, if you're interested to figure out your soul purpose, if you want to know what your soul family connection is, how that all works, then join me in my next live webinar classroom, which is about Ascension. And it's a 10-week course where we'll take you through on a weekly basis. This particular course, I will include a meditation with each class at the time of recording, but there'll be exercises, points of interest, things that you can do on a week-by-week basis that will help you discover why you've come through what you've come through, who you've become because of what you've come through, and how you can, with the help of your guides, shape where you're going in your future. Ascension is the most awe-inspiring journey. I know from myself, sitting on my train, heading down to Liverpool to do my teacher training course with the lovely Sue Ann and Elizabeth Ann many moons ago now, just how awe-inspiring it was for me. And working with these higher energetic guides, really getting to know who they are and why they're here to help us. So we'll look at one of those beautiful dynamic beings on a week-by-week basis. You can work with them for that week. So you'll have that lovely process to guide you through the course as well. I'm sure you'll really find a great deal of spiritual nourishment, spiritual wealth and knowledge to be gained from the Ascension or live webinar class. For the students that have been on the webinar class, they absolutely love it. They like seeing each other from different parts of the globe. They love connecting to each other. They love sharing their stories on a week-by-week basis. They love the fact that the webinar class is recorded. It goes into the classroom as a bonus section, and they can revisit what they were talking about or revisit what other students were talking about. Plus, they have all the course contents. So please feel free to look at the newsletter link below or pop on to phyllisbrown.co.nz and look in at the classes with Phyllis, and you'll find the links there. It would be great to see you on this journey. So that's me for today. I hope you've enjoyed a little insight to my thoughts and feelings about the year so far, and that we're actually in 2012 now, and that time is linear, and that this is all part of the ascension process where time becomes less irrelevant. It's about what you're doing in the time that's more important. So until the next time, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to just pull a little ascension card. So this is from my Soul's Journey tarot deck, or oracle deck, I should say. And I thought I would just pull a card just to see what our Soul's Journey card is for today, for everyone and anyone who's watching and listening. So what have we got? Oh, compassion. Well, there we go. Kindness and compassion. How wonderful is that? How wonderful is that? So this is our message for everyone out there. Do not judgment. We can see past the illusion of some people that some people present to us. We must extend our compassion to them so that they too may be able to see what we see. Your words have the power to heal our heart. With compassion on your side, you can use your words to instill in someone confidence, guidance, love, and self-respect. Be compassionate to everything around you, be it animal or human, friend or foe. It is the best healing you can give. So that is our message, our ascension message for today. And I think with compassion, with kindness, and thank you, Adam, for joining us here today. It's lovely to see your message. I think with compassion, that's absolutely the ascension process, being compassionate to our friends or our foes. We're all human, and we gain a huge amount of lessons from everyone who makes us feel sad or who hurts us in some way. That's your lesson right there. How can you develop a better approach to life through that lesson that they're giving you? So until next month, hopefully it won't be quite so long as the last time. We'll see you again. And thank you, Adam, for joining me. It's wonderful to see you there. And we'll see you the next time. Bye for now.